a beginner or intermediate or budding into an intermediate guitarist, there is a ton of information that is just out there on what you should, what you shouldn't learn to be a guitarist. It could be pretty overwhelming. So what I want to do today is take that and just narrow our focus down and just look at 3 different things that I think will help you out tremendously and give you the best results at the quickest way possible. So I have 3 tips today that I think are essential to understand the guitar and to know if you want to better yourself and to be able to play with other people. The first thing I want to look at is a 12-bar progression. Now, a 12-bar progression, the first thing that pops into a lot of people's minds is blues. And a lot of people are like, I'm tired of the blues. It's easy, it's old, it's overplayed, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that 12-bar blues progression is the genesis for Western music, rock and roll. Rock and roll, a lot of the early songs are based off of 12 bars. Even songs today, even country music, a lot of that is based off of that 12 bars. If you want to be able to jam with other people, the likelihood of you picking up a guitar and them wanting to roll through a basic 12-bar progression is pretty high. So I think it's very essential to understand and know how to play it. So let's just go ahead and put the chart up on the screen and I'll explain it to you real quick and I'll give you some examples of what I see a lot of the beginners or budding intermediates do and how to fix that. So the first thing that we see here, we see 12 boxes. Each one of those boxes represents a bar, hence 12 bars. The first box, we have the 1 chord. The 1 chord would be the first chord in progression, so that would be an E in our case. So we're going to do an E because you know this. This right here, this first one is an E. That's our 1. The 4 is going to be the A. The 5 is going to be the B, right? All right, so we have the first 4 bars is the 1 chord. Bars 5 and 6 are the 4 chord. 7 and 8, the 1 chord. 9 is the 5 chord. 10, 4, 11, the 1 chord. And the 12th bar is a 1 chord or it's a turnaround. I think a lot of people are guilty of the same mistake of not understanding a 12 bar but understanding the chords with it. So let's learn that now and fix it. All right, so the first thing that I see a lot of these intermediate guitarists do, or budding intermediates and beginners do, is they know the chords, right? This is our E. Then they know the next one. Might even know the next one. What they do is something like this. So why is this wrong? The thing is, I just pick these chords at random, and I see a lot of people do that. They just play the chords at random. There's no structure. There is no progression. Nobody's going to be able to follow you if you're just all over the place with what chords you're playing and when. That's why this is a standard. That's why when you go to any kind of a jam, a blues jam, or if you want to play with just other people, they say 12 bars, you better know what that 12 bars is. So let's run through how it should actually work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count everything out kind of slowly, and then once we get that down, I'll run through it quick and show you what it should sound like. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to state the name of the bar, which is bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, and then count out 4 beats per bar. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we're going to move up to 5 and 6. That's the 4 chord. Ready? 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. Back to the 7th bar, which is the 1 chord. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. And then the 9th bar is our 5 chord, which is the B. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. 11, 2, 3, 4. 12, 2. All right, so that is the 12-bar progression here. You'll hear that everywhere, including the intro that I just did. That right there is 12 bars, right? So the first 4 bars. That's the bar 1. That's bar 2, and then the same thing. That's the first 4 bars, and then I go down to the 4 chord, which is our F. That's bars 5 and 6, and then back to the beginning for 7 and 8. Bars 7 and 8 is the 1 chord. And then bar 9 is that G, and then 10 would be the F again, and then 11 would be that first chord, and then 12 I'll just continue on. So you see how if you didn't think that was a 12 bar progression at the beginning of the video, it is, and that's how important that is. So before I move on, I would like to take this opportunity to ask if you subscribe, if you find anything useful out of this video or any of my videos. It really helps me out, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to hit on was the cage system. Like it or not, there's a lot of information about caged, and a lot of people don't like the term cage or don't like the fact that it's called a system, this and that, whatever, semantics. In my opinion, it doesn't matter. It's an acronym for shapes. It's not an acronym for chords. It's shapes that you have that are based off of the chords, but it's not the chords. It's really confusing, but it shouldn't be, and it's really important. So let's hop down, and I'll just do a really quick brief explanation of the cage shapes and how it kind of works and why it's important. Okay, so if we wanted to do a quick rundown of the cage shapes, I have other videos out there, and you could probably find some other ones on YouTube, but let's just roll through all the letters starting with the C because it's really convenient, right? So we have this C shape. The next letter in cage would be the A shape. So right here is our C chord, and then right here is the A shape. That's still a C, right? And then the G would be down here. So this is confusing because this is like a G shape, but you're not going to play it like that. You're either going to do like this, just these 3 in the middle, or something like this, and pieces there. So that's the G shape, then the E shape, and then the D shape. All those were the C chords in different inversions. That's what each of those letters stands for. It's a different inversion of the same chord. So that is how that works. I do have a video that I think got a little bit of traction on better understanding how to connect all those. So I'll go ahead and link it here because I really do think it'd be helpful to understand that. Now, the reason why I think that's so important is because if we go back to that intro here. So what did I use there? I used the A-shaped C, the G-shaped C, and the E shape. So let's break that down. So the beginning was this C, the A-shaped C. Then I'm doing the slide up into the G-shaped C, right? And then I'm moving up from here. That's part of this E shape. If you're thinking about all this in shapes, you know that you could do all these licks between them and still stay in that same chord. So A shape, G shape, E shape. Still in that G shape. That's why it's so important. All these licks are just different inversions, so that's why you are able to play notes off of the C pentatonic scale or whatever scale that you want up the fretboard while staying in that same chord. And I think that's a perfect segue into moving to the major scale. The major scale, in my opinion, is paramount. The number one scale that you probably should learn. It's everywhere. I have videos showing you exactly where it is and how much it's used. You have to know it because it's just everywhere. Knowing the major scale opens up so many doors. Once you do it, you'll have the keys to the kingdom of all the guitar neck as far as I'm concerned. You could build chords, you could learn all the different modes, all the different pentatonic scales based off of the major scale if you have the understanding of that. So let's just look at the A major scale. I'm going to put up the diagram and run through it real quick and count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octave. That's our 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, octave. That's our A again, the 1. Why is that so important? Because you could do so many things. Based off of that, you could drop a few notes and you have the A major pentatonic scale. Flatten the 3rd and you have the A minor pentatonic scale. All you're doing is adjusting the numbers and dropping a few of those out of there for your scales. So it's all based off of that. If somebody says a 7th, you could count those numbers out and you know that based off of, let's see this, we have this D right here, right? Let's count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. This is our 7. This is our D chord. There's our 7. Keep that 7 in there. You have a D major 7. The point there is you don't need to know a D major 7 off the top of your head or look it up or in a book or anything. You could just build it out on the fly like that just by referencing the numbers from that major scale. That's why it's so important. And even to that extent, I have a great video that'll show you how to play the major scale across all the different shapes, right? So let's go with the C again. Here's the C shape, right? Here's a C major pentatonic scale. A shape, G shape, E shape, then the D shape down here. Now, I do break that down in that video that I just linked, so I think it's really valuable to understand that because it's way easier to memorize all these than you probably think it is. I know that was a lot of information condensed into a little bit of time, but I think all this stuff is super valuable to know. I try to link as many videos as I possibly could for further resources during this video on understanding each one of these topics. But believe me, once you get all these down, especially that 12 bar thing, you'll be able to just jam and make up your own songs with the best of them out there and raise your confidence level to actually play with some people. And when that happens, it really does feel good. So I hope that was helpful, and if it was, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.